Well, hey, welcome to Tony's Bonsai. Absolutely gorgeous day, and I'm here to do the $50 challenge where I've got to get a bonsai in a pot for $50, or for me in the UK, £50. And I'm at Maple Farm Nurseries. I've been here in the past. I'll give you a quick look now at the plants I'm considering buying. There's tons and tons of these privets, variegated. They've got some lovely bases to them. Look at this down here. Look at that, that's nice, isn't it? Look at those roots. Now, I've not got any privet in my collection, so I thought what a great opportunity to add something to it, and this is the tree that I'm considering. Look at that root. It's got a lovely thick base going up, so I can probably chop it down and select one of these as the new leader, and that'll have great taper, a great root base. It's not got a perfectly radial root base, but you know, I'm not bothered about that. It's got real bags of character, so I do like that one, but I also quite like this one. Look at that, that's got some interesting roots as well. It's got some nice taper, and I could chop these lower ones off or keep them, chop it up here and take that into the new leader. So I'm tempted by that one. There is so much stuff to consider. I'll just quickly have a walk further down, and there is a larger tree that I spotted earlier that I do think would make a really nice bonsai. What's this here? Look at that. That's got some nice roots to it, hasn't it? Beautiful. Some of these have got great bases. Obviously, the bigger they are, the more expensive. And there's, no, it wasn't those. I think it was round here where I spotted one that I did like. This one. That's quite nice. It's bigger than the other. It's got a bit more of a traditional boring root base, but it's quite a lot more expensive, and that I'd really struggle to buy that under pot. That's the problem. This one's £36, so it'd only leave me £16 for a pot, and that's not easy. Well, that was a few days ago. I did decide on this variegated privet with the nice roots, but I've been waiting the last few days for this pot to arrive, and here it is. Now, I know Carlos in the challenge mentioned that you've got to buy the pot and the plant from the same place, but in Preston I just can't do that. There's nowhere that sells plants and pots, so I bought this online. To be honest, I ended up splashing out. I spent 80% of my budget on this pot. It cost me 40 quid, £42, but it's gorgeous. I mean, I love these colours and the textures on the edge. It's just such a beautiful pot, I couldn't resist. I was always told that if you're going to break the rules, you may as well break them properly. And I've got some rocks. And my plan is to put these in the pot and possibly do some kind of root over rock. So let's get stuck in and see what we're dealing with this plant. I suspect it's impossible to play with the roots on a plant at a worse time of year. We've got the hottest heat wave that the UK's ever had at the moment, and today might be the highest ever recorded temperatures up here in Preston. We're talking 33, 34 degrees C, and I'm going to look at the roots on this plant. So will it make it or not, I don't know, but at the end of the day it only cost £7 this tree, and it's not like I'm dealing with an oak or something like that. It is a hedge, it's hedging material, and they are very hardy, these. So I'm not going to go mad. What I'm going to do is just see if I can release some of these roots and possibly get them over a rock. It was these roots in here that attracted me to the plant. Obviously there's not much in terms of the trunk movement or anything like that. It was all about these roots, so what I'm hoping is that I can reveal some of these roots and possibly, I don't know, you know, the more that I think about this, it almost seems like the worse an idea it is, because I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do anything with these roots, thinking about it. I think I got carried away in the moment, looking at the lovely base of this tree, thinking, oh, that'll be an amazing kind of root over rock thing, but I think it's going to be too mature, the plant, for me to be able to do much with these roots now. I think they're too set in place, and they're in like a big lump, I think. The way I'm feeling, as my chopstick goes in, I'm beginning to feel these roots going down, and they seem pretty solid. There's just a plane going over. Commercial flight. Yeah, well, this is really interesting. I'm not going to get this onto any kind of rock. These roots are so tangled, which in a way is good, because it does make them interesting, but I'm never going to be able to do anything with them. These roots are what they are. Or can I actually get into these roots and kind of pull them apart and lever them round the rock? This feels like I'm entering the danger zone, if I'm honest, with this tree. There's probably a lot of people watching now and they're going, Tony, you're just about to kill this tree. Don't do it, don't do it. And I should listen to them. You're supposed to reuse the same soil, aren't you, in this challenge? So I will collect that soil up. I might reuse it. What do you think now as you're watching? Tell me what you think to this plan. Or do you think I'm being crazy? You know, or do you think this can survive? They are hardy, these plants, these privets. They're really tough. Oh, just snap me chopstick. It's only a cheap plastic one. I'll just use the other end. It's really, the roots are really kind of compact on this. So I'm just doing a bit of a stabbing motion now to try and break this area up. And it does seem to be loosening a bit. But is that loosening enough for me to do anything with these roots? I'm not convinced. Nigel will be proud of me watching this. He loves to go mad on the roots. And while I'm doing this now, I just want to say a shout out to Spencer and Cole, who nominated me to do this challenge. They are Bonsai by SNC. Two great young lads. Great to see young lads with an interesting bonsai, but not only the interesting bonsai, they've also obviously got an interest in YouTube and, you know, becoming a creator. And I kind of respect that off the boys. They're out doing it, becoming bonsai aficionados. Right, now I've got most of the sort of soil out of this and the roots off, so I wonder if I can now actually spread these roots. It does look like I kind of can. Oh wait, yes. Now these ones obviously are really twisted around. But I'm managing to untangle some of these. And I'm thinking I might actually be able to get this on a rock. Hope you're proud of me, Nigel. In she goes. So I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. Firstly, to kind of clean the roots off so I can see what's going on. But also, just to give the keep the roots moist. Give them this nice drink so that they've got the best chance of surviving this torturous ordeal. There we go, good dunk. There. Now the dog can see the rabbit, as they say here in the northwest of England. Oh, beautiful. Now, can I get a rock on that? Let's pick one. So I'm wondering if I can kind of wedge multiple pieces in somehow. No, that just seems a bit daft. There we go. I think this is going to be the way the roots lie, kind of like that, almost like in a flat way like that, with this coming off at a bit of an angle like that. So let's move this bucket. I might keep just dunking the roots in just to keep them wet. Right, I'm going to start off with a piece of, don't know what they call it in bonsai world, but I used to be a plasterer and we call it scrim tape. So I'll put the scrim tape in there just to seal those holes off. And then I'm going to put some wire through here to hold these rocks in place. I'm going to go for the root over rock idea. That's just not steady enough. That's solid there, so that's rock solid. Good. And then I can position this on top of it there. So if I position that to one edge, pretty much so it won't move, which that won't, and then I put this on here again, that seems pretty solid to me, that. I like that. But I will need to wire it in, so I will put a few pieces of wire through. I'll just quickly get that done through the pot now. Right, I've got these stones nicely balanced and they seem quite solid in there, in that position. And the wires will hold them in. So all I need to do now is somehow manipulate these roots sort of around this rock. So will that survive like that? It doesn't feel like that'll survive to me. That feels like it'll just die. What do you think? That feels like it's going to sit there waiting to die. I don't know. No, I'm not liking that. I don't think it's going to work with these two balanced in that way. I think I just need one rock. And I'm not sure this pot's deep enough. That's one of the problems when you're buying pots online. You know, you don't get to sort of not sure. I might just go for that, you know. Hold that in like that without the rock. That could work. That. I'll put some soil in the pot. Although I need a bigger pot really. I'm so excited about my first ever bonsai pot. I want to use it. So I'm just going to do it. And I'm glad I separated these roots out, because I think that by opening them up like this, I think it'll create something. Now I need to cut these roots down. This is where I genuinely feel like I'm going to kill the tree. But you know what? In for a penny and all that. I'm just cutting them to the circumference of the pot. I was reading some comments on someone else's video the other day to do with this challenge, and they were saying the tree has to survive to to make the challenge, and I've not seen anyone as obviously kill a tree as this yet. But I like to be the first, you know. Trendsetter, if you will. Will that make it? I've got plenty of wire in there now to hold this in place. I'm just putting some nice well-draining bonsai soil in here. Just me cheap stuff. I could use that compost that I took out of the pot, but I think it needs absolutely every bit of help to live this. So I'm going to do what I can. And as I say, if it means breaking the rules a bit, c'est la vie, you know. I like being a rule breaker. So I'm just piling the soil around like that. I'll get my chopstick and just work it into the roots a bit so there's no air pockets. You don't often see me doing this kind of stuff, because this is generally the kind of work that's done on more refined trees. What I'd love to know in the comments is what chance you think this has got of living or dying. I want your percentage. I know my percentage. I've got it in my mind. I want to know what you think. So, because it's naturally leaning over, I can't actually change my camera angle until I get one wire in. So I'm going to rotate this round, and because it's leaning this way, I need to get this one of these wires across here to just to kind of hold it in position there. I wasn't particularly planning on cutting too much off this tree. However, this is all too much weight leaning over, and it's kind of counterbalancing the tree too much. So I need to get rid of some of that. I can plant these actually. You can just literally stick them in the ground and they'll grow. So what I'll do with those is I'll just throw them in that water temporarily. I'll show you how I propagate those at the end of the video. So that's better. That's taken a lot of the weight off this side, which is good because I need to take some of the water demand off those roots. And by removing the sort of demand for water, it's got more of a chance for it to live. Right, now to get on with these wires. As I say, I've got one wire in there sort of temporarily. I'll bring this next one round. Twist that there. And then this one again can go over the back to really hold that down. So those 3 wires are now holding it in place quite nicely. And what I do now is I get my pliers and I just pull and twist, pull and twist, pull and twist, and that'll hold that in nicely there. Yeah, that's a good hold. And then I'll repeat the same process with all 3 wires. So that's the first one done. This next one, let's have a look at this. Yeah, same process. Pull and twist, pull and twist. That's holding this nicely in there. Cut that off. Oh, that first wire snapped. Ah well. I'll do this one now then. And then I'll replace that first wire. In fact, it might not actually need it. Let's have a look. Probably use a slightly too thin a wire. But I wanted to use fresh wire and I didn't have any of my clean. There we go. Oh, that's held that nicely, that one. So it's fairly well held, but I do think it'd be nice just to re-add that one. So I will replace that with a new piece. And let's have a look which one. So I'll just pull it out like that. Yeah, I'll definitely put this back in just as extra security, just to keep it held in nicely. So I'll just cut another piece of wire. Should I use no, I won't use a thicker piece. This will do, it won't snap this time. Cut the wire off. Pick it up off the floor. And then slide it up through the hole there. This is what I did before, but I speeded it up. The next door neighbour turned the radio on. He was listening to Talk Sport about Man United. It's going to be an interesting season this year. So There we go. Yeah, so I do want this side to be the most supported. So I'll pull it across, twist, and this will just add a nice extra bit of support, which I want. Pull and twist, pull and twist. One more, there we go. That's nice and solid now. And that's actually rock solid, which is good. There's a couple of roots sticking up here. And what I do want to do now is get this watered straight away. I'm just going to shove some of the roots that are sticking up, I just shove them back down. Because I cut enough root off as it is. I need to get this watered now. Get some water on this now. And I'll be watering this. I'll give this a good water today, probably 3 or 4 times in this heat, just to get everything nice and wet, keep these roots moist. I like this tiny little watering can. It doesn't put a lot of water out at any one time, so it doesn't disturb the soil and the roots. It's good. It's now pouring right through. So I'll give this 5 minutes and then give it another water, because it does need a few waterings to sort of pick up. And what do you think of that? Something a bit different. I didn't just want to do something normal and straightforward. I wanted to do something interesting, and I'm quite happy with this root base. I think it's really interesting. It could develop nicely, that. There we go. I just thought I'd give you a quick look at this root base. I do think it's got some really nice character and potential. Up at the top here, I don't know what I'll do with this at a later date, but it's a good start. A few weeks ago in one of my videos I worked on a honeysuckle, and a lot of the cuttings I just stuck in this pot. They still seem healthy. Whether they've rooted or not, I don't know. I think we'll take a quick look now and see if they have. They certainly seem to be doing quite well. I've got loads of these, so I don't mind just having a look at one just to see what it's doing. Oh look at those roots. Are they on they're on this, aren't they? Yeah, look at those roots in that. Absolutely full. So that's doing really nice and healthily. I've not killed that there. That'll do fine. I'll just podge that back in. So people were right when they said honeysuckle are easy to propagate. They're very easy. And I've got a few nice ones to work with there. As for these privets, I'll take a heel cutting like that. Then I just strip the bottom off it, as so. Cut it. I'll cut it to there and to there. Dip it in some rooting hormone powder, which I've got here. So just dip it in that. Get my chopstick or paintbrush, which works as a good dibber. Dib a hole in, quite deep. Push that in. Done. Obviously I've got loads of these, so you can just pull them off, strip, back to a couple of leaves, into the powder, and it's just follow that same procedure. And these root really well, so I'm going to be brave with this one, the big one. In a minute I'm going to show you an alternative method. I only want so many of these, but I will do heel cuttings like that. Heel cuttings I always find do tend to work best. In they go. Lovely. Lovely jubbly, as Del Boy would say. I love propagating plants. I think there's something really nice about taking something you were just going to throw away and turning it into a tree, into a new bush. And if I don't want them, I can give them away if anybody wants them. And so I use different size branches, some thick, some thin. The main thing though is you do have to plant them quite deep in the ground, in the soil, so that they're solid. I'm cutting this one off. That's at a weird angle, that one. So that might grow into something a bit different, a bit unusual. Any opportunity to grow something that's got a bit more movement or character in it. See, this one here, what I'll do is, it's a thick one. Really thick, with just one sort of branch going up. I'll just stick it in the ground. You never know. It either lives or it doesn't. Either way, I'm not that bothered. I will take some off this bigger piece. So I've got 4 off that. And these 4 I'll use now, and then I'm going to plant that one in the ground. So these are more like traditional ones. They're nice thin branches that you just stick in. I'm not sure whether this is a good time of year for doing this, to be honest. I just don't know. I would imagine you can kind of get away with any time of year with this sort of plant. And I presume it's the same as the normal privet. And I know it's variegated, but that shouldn't really make too much difference. I think they'll work just the same. Last one. And I'm really pleased about all these honeysuckles, and I think with the amount of root that was on that one that I looked at, I think I'll be able to put some wire on these soon. So this will get a good watering, but before I do that, I'll show you what I'm going to do with this one. This is the bottom of my garden down here, where I've got my Japanese maples. There's a clump style hawthorn here, some field maples. But so I water this area every day, and so this is a good spot. I've cleared the weeds away, and all I'll do is just put a hole in the ground like that. Take this stump, just dig it in there, water that in, see what happens. Thanks again to Bonsai by SNC for nominating me, and seeing as I broke a few rules with this, I'm going to break a few more rules, or I don't even know if these are rules, but I'm going to nominate 3 people to do the £50 or $50 bonsai challenge. Guy Watson, get down to B&Q, get yourself a bargain. Xavier Martinez, I love his videos, great guy from down south. I know he's got hundreds of trees, well, I mean like 600-700 trees, something like that, but he's the kind of guy who always needs at least one more tree. So I want to see you doing it. And Jason Hanrahan, he's got a nice growing channel, very peaceful, meditative, they all interact with me on my channel, and I'd be interested to see what you can do with £50. Do it like me, spend it all on a pot, or do whatever. But it's been fun. I'd really like to thank you for joining me on this video and just seeing what I get up to. If you'd like to follow the progress of this tree, you know what to do. And as always, thanks for joining me. Have a great day.